My name's Elsa and I'm 9 years old and I'm in grade 4. I was diagnosed with leukemia after my 5th birthday on the 14th of June.
Elsa was always a shy, quiet little girl when she was tiny, but after her diagnosis she really changed her personality and she really came out of her shell, and now she's unstoppable.
What I enjoy doing is playing with my Sylvanian families in my other room and playing with my bunny toys and playing outside.
Grace is 13, has just started in at grade 7, having a lovely time. Charlotte is in grade 6 and is on the Student Representative Council, which she's very proud of. And our youngest daughter Elsa is in grade 4. I think there's positives in most circumstances that you can find yourselves in. I mean, obviously there's some very dark and lonely times through the cancer journey, but equally to see the strength of character of Elsa and to see how resilient all of these kids are that go through this journey, it is just remarkable.
Things I didn't like about it was having my bald head and then going in the wheelchair that I had to stay in, and all the needles and my warts I had on my feet.
Having to have blood tests every day, blood transfusions, lots of medical interventions and different staff. And I guess in that time you either come out of your shell and deal with the aspects of what you're going through or you regress in. And I think for Elsa, she's had the strength and the personality to come forward, and it's really changed her.
Elsa's sisters were about 7 and 6 when Elsa was diagnosed, and certainly at the start it was a very confusing time for them. They knew enough to understand that she was unwell, but it was difficult for them to understand the seriousness of what Elsa had been diagnosed with, and also the amount of time that was involved in getting better. Children aren't used to that length of time and the pressures over such a long period of time.
For several weeks we'd noticed that Elsa had been not herself. Initially she had symptoms of a cold and a flu and large palpable lymph nodes in her neck and around her chin. We took her to the general practitioner and he gave her a course of antibiotics, and after the week of antibiotics her cold symptoms got better, but her glands in her neck were still quite large, and we agreed that with the doctor that we thought she needed to have some blood tests done and see what was going on. And as it happens, when you've got a husband that's in the army, he was away on a trip up to Woomera, I think, that weekend. So I toddled off to Flinders with the 3 girls in tow, and Elsa had blood tests done. And of course, you've got a lot of waiting in between, waiting for the results to come back. So I got onto my husband and said, "You'd better come back. I think we're going to need you here in Adelaide." The next thing we knew, one of the consultants from the emergency department came in and broke the bad news that she had leukemia. And
the cancer journey has been a tough one. Cancer really does affect the entire family unit. At the start, you're just trying to keep up. There's so much to do, and it's such an intense period, and there's so much happening. You're doing your best just to kick and keep your head above water. After a while, you get better at it. Now that Elsa's in remission, she runs, she laughs, she jumps, she plays, and to anyone looking at her, you'd be hard-pressed to pick her from any other normal child, which is just fantastic. She's got so much energy, she's got such a beautiful personality. It's a real pleasure to see her out and running with her sisters and fighting with her sisters and chasing the cat and doing all those things that kids do.
My favourite thing about Camp Quality is the activities that I do, is like going to the pool, Green Hills Adventure Park, and seeing movies before my sisters like The Croods, and they haven't seen that yet.
We first heard about Camp Quality very early in the piece. When you're diagnosed with cancer, there's a lot of information that gets thrown at you about treatments and protocols and the disease itself. In and amongst all that information, very quickly is Camp Quality. We were encouraged to meet with Camp Quality, and they very quickly threw a very loving blanket over our family and drew us into the fold. And within a matter of weeks of Elsa's diagnosis, she was off attending her first camp. What I remember at that time is not what Elsa remembers. When you talk to her about that period, she remembers the camp. It was only a few hours every day, but it was such a break from the routine of what she was doing in the wards that has actually forged a new memory for her. The cancer and the treatment is always there. We still have hospital visits, we still have responsibilities we need to undertake now that she's in remission. But certainly for us, life has returned to more normal phase. And I think one thing that has come through for us as a family unit is you really don't take a lot for granted now. You're in a position to be able to remind yourself exactly what it means to be blessed and to be fortunate to have a nice, healthy family unit, and we still have a little way to go yet, but we certainly are very appreciative of where we are in life now, and life's busy and hectic and wonderful for all of those reasons.
Goober.